The fire type is known for being one of the coolest types in all of Pokemon, and because of this, I wanted to see if I could beat Pokemon White 2 only using fire types. But as if that's not hard enough, I'm going to be adding on hardcore Nuzlocke rules just to make this run a little bit more excruciating. With that being said though, I'm ready to get into the game, so I name myself Zango and make my way to get my first Pokemon. Obviously, my first fire type is going to be Tepig, so right after I get him, I name him Inferno and find out he's got a brave nature, which is pretty good. I then go into the first route and meet Alder, and this guy's an absolute maniac. He literally jumps off of a 20-foot cliff for no reason other than to spin around me a couple of times. Either way, I end up forcing my way past him and into Velocity Ranch, where I find this Herdier, pet these two Herdiers, and make my way towards the first gym because there's really nothing else to do here. I start my battle with Sharon, and he leads the battle with Patrat as I lead with Tepig and immediately go for a Tail Whip as he sets up with Work Up. On the next turn, I go for a Tackle, doing over half as Patrat sets up another Work Up, and on the following turn, I'm able to finish him off with a second Tackle. This means Sharon's onto his final Pokemon Lillipup, and right away he hits me with a Tackle, not doing too much as I set up a Tail Whip. On the next turn, Lillipup uses Work Up, and I decide to go for a Tackle, doing less than half. This puts me in a pretty bad position as I get hit with a Tackle, doing a good amount of damage, and I then try and go for an Ember so as not to activate the potion. I ended up burning Lillipup, so Sharon heals anyways, as on the next turn I finish off Lillipup with 2 more Tackles, winning me my first gym badge. With that, I do a little bit of story and head to Driftveil City. In the city, I can catch myself another Pokemon, so I move down to the complex and catch myself a Growlithe. This Growlithe I name Ember, and it's got a naive nature, which is going to be really useful in this run. I then evolve Tepig into Pignite and challenge Roxy for the second gym badge. She leads the battle with Coughing as I lead with Inferno. Immediately, I go for a Flame Charge and Arm Thrust combo that does a good amount of damage to this thing as I get hit for virtually no damage. After this, I tear this Whoopee cushion apart with a single critical hit Flame Charge, and with that, Whirlipede's out last. Whirlipede stands no chance in this fight as I do half with a single Flame Charge, and after a couple of turns, I end up finishing off Whirlipede, winning me my second badge. Once I get that, I move on to what could be the worst thing in Pokemon history, Pokestar Studios. This thing is just really long for no reason, and because I have nothing better to do here, I might as well let you know that only 4.6% of my viewers are actually subscribed, so if you could please subscribe, it'd be greatly appreciated. At the time of recording this, I'm only 49 subscribers away from 10k, so if you could please help me out, that would mean the world to me. Thank you to everybody for the recent support, and with that, we're finally out of Pokestar Studios. At this point, I've got to deal with Team Plasma again, but it doesn't really take that long, so after I do that, I head to Castelia City. Once here, I immediately go to the sewers, and I'm able to catch myself my next Pokemon, Eevee. I name him Chili, and sadly, the Firestone I need to evolve him is pretty late game, so I'm not going to be able to use him for a while. With that, I go up to Route 4 so I can catch myself a Darumaka. This catch isn't difficult, especially with my 999 Pokeballs, and after I catch Darumaka, I name her Flannery. Now at this point, I feel pretty okay to challenge the gym, and Berg leads the battle with Swadaloon as I lead with Inferno. Swadaloon is 4 times weak to a Flame Charge, so that's what I go for, and I'm able to one-shot. Next out is Dwebble, and he's a little bit harder than Swadaloon, but it's still not really that big of an issue, as all I've got to go for is a Flame Charge, Arm Thrust, and Flame Charge again, taking a Dwebble and leading into Berg's final Pokemon, Leavanny. Leavanny is just like Swadaloon, and one Flame Charge is able to take him out, winning me my 3rd badge. At this point, I decide to go in the desert on Route 4, and as I'm playing in the sand, I find myself a Firestone. Now I go to Lost Lone Forest to catch myself my final Pokemon in this area, Pansear. After catching Pansear, I name him Kabu, and I've got to decide who I want to use this Firestone on. In the end, I choose Growlithe because Arcanine is just an insane Pokemon. As I'm heading towards the next gym, I meet this poor guy, and he's on a date and he doesn't know what to say. So him and this girl are just forced to sit here, and she picks up on this and says he does nothing but play guitar. Honestly, feels bad, man. After that experience, I start my battle with Elisa, and she leads the battle with Emolga as I lead with Inferno. Emolga goes for a Volt Switch, doing 30 as she switches out into Falafi, and I hit Falafi pretty hard with a Flame Charge, doing half. This allows me to finish off Falafi with a second Flame Charge, and Emolga gets sent out again. With my speed up 2, I'm now faster than Emolga, so I'm able to go for a Flame Charge on her, doing half as she switches out with a Volt Switch into Zebstrika. She could have done a lot of damage to me on this turn if she just went for a Volt Switch, but for some reason she didn't, as I go for a Flame Charge doing about half, and she goes for a Pursuit doing about 10. This does force me to switch out though, so I decide to move into Kabu, who gets hit for massive damage on the switch in, and on the next turn, Emolga's able to take him out. This sacrifice really helped me out though, as it allows me me to get a free switch into Ember and go for a Fire Fang. This Fire Fang finishes off Emolga and leads Elisa to throw in her final Pokemon Zebstrika again. Zebstrika is low enough to where a single dig can take her out, and that wins me my 4th badge. Now that I've got that badge, I'm off towards Driftveil City. To get there, I've got to go through Charles, and this guy is an absolute tank. Not only is he built like one, but his team is really good too. I mean, by the end of the battle, one of my Pokemon was down to half HP, and he could have definitely taken me out. Thankfully, he decided to spare me though, and that means Darumaka can live another day. Now I'm finally in Driftveil City, and once I get here, I've got to go all the way up to Churchstone Cave so I can get gems to beat Clay. These gems are basically a confirmed critical hit, and they're pretty easy to find, so I just decided to stack up on a ton of them. With that out of the way, I'm ready to go challenge Clay, and he leads the battle with Krokorok as I lead with Inferno. Krokorok starts the battle by hitting me with Intimidate, lowering my attack, and going for a Torment. I then go for an Arm Thrust, hitting it twice, and on the 3rd time getting a lucky critical hit, finishing off Krokorok. Clay then brings out Sandslash, who goes for a rollout as I go for a Heat Crash, doing basically no damage. I then get hit with a second rollout, bringing me down to 71 HP, and I go for a Flame Charge, getting a lucky critical hit again, bringing Sandslash all the way into the red. Because Sandslash is stuck using rollout, he can't actually heal, so I go for a Heat Crash hoping to kill, but it brings Sandslash down to a sliver as he hits me for a ton of damage with a rollout. Thankfully, I'm able to finish him off with another Flame Charge, and with that, Excadrill is out last. I spent a long time here thinking about what I should do next, and eventually I came up with my decision. I remembered that I put a ground gem on Arcanine, so I decided to switch into him and go for a dig. Thankfully on this switch in, I don't get hit for much damage, so I'm able to freely go for a dig, and it one-shots Excadrill, winning me my 5th badge. Now that I've got the gym badge, I can do the Driftveil City tournament and earn VP so I can get myself another Firestone. This Firestone I use to evolve Eevee into Flareon, and with that, I deal with Team Plasma on their weird little floating ship thing. This all happens pretty fast though, so I figure I might as well go catch my next Pokemon on the run all the way in Relic Castle, and that's Volcarona. After I catch her, I name her Malva, and I realize she's got the worst nature ever, being attack up and defense down, which is absolutely useless for Volcarona. Either way, after this, I make my way through Chargestone Cave into Mistrulian City, and once I get here, I'm able to catch another Pokemon, this one being Litwick. I name him Flint, and he's got a much better nature than Volcarona, making his speed go up, which is really going to be useful. Now I'm off towards the gym, so I evolve my Pignite into Emboar and my Darumaka into Darmanitan. And with that, I start my battle with Skyla, and she leads the battle with Swoobat as I lead with Arcanine. Immediately, I go for a Thunderfang that brings Swoobat all the way down into the red as she goes for an Attract. Skyla then heals as I go for a Fire Fang and get immobilized by Love. On the next turn, I'm able to hit the Fire Fang, but not before taking some damage from Heart Stamp, and the Fire Fang only brings Swoobat down to about a 1/3. Swoobat is able to hit me with one more Heart Stamp before I finally take her out with an Extreme Speed, and that means Swanna comes in next. Swanna gets absolutely decimated by a single Thunderfang, and that leads into Skyla's final Pokemon, Skarmory. Skarmory lives one turn because of Sturdy, but after that it's Grits as Skarmory goes down to a second Fire Fang, and that wins me my 6th badge. With Skyla's gym down, I steal her private jet and make my way towards the next area. In this place, I get myself a Duskstone, and I get myself a Camerupt that I name Blaine. At this point, I evolve my Litwick all the way up to Chandelure, and I get in my battle with Hugh. Hugh's Unfezant goes down without me taking any damage, so when going into Samurott, I have full HP. Samurott hits me with a single Aqua Jet, bringing me all the way down to 54 HP. Thankfully though, I'm able to go for an Energy Ball, bring Samurott down all the way to about a 5th. This does mean I need to switch though, so I decide to move into Ember, who gets hit for massive damage on the switch in, bringing me all the way down to 28 HP. Thankfully, I have Extreme Speed, so I outspeed Samurott and finish him off. With that, Simisage is last, and he gets one-shotted, so not even that big of a deal. That fight could have gone a little bit bad if I got hit with a crit, but thankfully I didn't, so now I'm able to make my way freely towards the next town. There's nothing really to do in this town, but after it, I can start my way towards Opelucid City. While on my way there, I meet Virizion, and I decide to make her immediately extinct, and after I do this, I find myself in Opelucid City and ready to challenge the 7th gym. Drayden leads the battle with Dredagon as I lead with Arcanine. I start off by going for a Dragon Pulse, doing a ton of damage to Dredagon as he hits me with a Crunch, bringing me down to 107. Drayden then heals as I go for an Extreme Speed, doing about a 1/3, and at this point, I'm able to take out Dredagon with another Dragon Pulse. Flygon's out next, and the only reason I one-shotted this thing is because I put the Draco plate on Arcanine, so my Dragon Pulse does a little bit more damage, and thankfully it's just enough to finish off Flygon. With Flygon HG down, Haxorus comes out last, and for this, I have a plan. At first, I start out by trying to get the read on Haxorus, going for a Bulldoze to lower his speed, but instead of me getting the read, I end up getting hit by a massive Dragon Tail, switching me out. I ended up getting swapped into Darmanitan, but since I don't want to be with Darmanitan right now, I decide to switch back into Arcanine, and thankfully, my plan ends up going just fine as Haxorus goes for a Dragon Dance. Because I lowered Haxorus' speed earlier, he's not faster than me, so I'm able to freely get off a Dragon Pulse, finishing off Haxorus' remaining HP and winning my 7th badge. After the gym, poor Opelucid City gets iced, and I've got to deal with Team Plasma. They're really easy to deal with, and after I finish off Zinzalin, I get these DNA splicers that are almost immediately stolen off me. I track the thieves all the way to Humalau City, and in this city, I get to challenge the 8th gym. This gym is the water gym, so you best believe I'm horrified going into this fight. Either way, Marlin decides to lead with Caracosta as I lead with Chandelure. I go for an energy ball that Caracosta only lives because of Sturdy, and he decides to go for a Shell Smash. Marlin then heals as I go for another energy ball, bringing Caracosta back down to 1 HP, and on the following turn, I'm able to finish him off. This leads into Marlin's next Pokemon, Wailord, and this is the scariest part of the fight as I really have to hope I do at least half with a single energy ball. So I go for an energy ball, doing well over half, bringing Wailord all the way down to about a third. Marlin decides not to attack me for some reason, allowing me to finish off Wailord on the next turn with another energy ball. Now Marlin's onto his final Pokemon, Jellicent. Shockingly enough, this thing is able to get a hit on me, but since it really doesn't matter this late in the fight, I'm able to finish off Jellicent with just 2 energy balls, and that wins me my final gym of this run. After this, I've got to fight a ton of Team Plasma members before I can even think about making it to the Elite Four. I end up having to go to their ship 2 more times, and the first time I get there, I just guess the password, and eventually, after I get it correct, I don't really have to fight that many Team Plasma members. But the second time I get to their ship in Giant Chasm, I have to fight everyone and their mother. It is crazy how many trainers you fight here. One of the 3 important fights here though is against Zinzalin, and he's got all ice types, so I basically just melt him. Colress is the next important fight, and again, I have fire types, he has steel types. It's not a good combination for him. He ends up getting swept, and I'm then able to fight Ghetsis. He leads the battle with Cofagrigus as I lead with Chandelure. Immediately I go for a Shadow Ball on Cofagrigus, one-shotting in the process, as next out comes Seismitoad. Seismitoad is easy to one-shot with a single energy ball, as after this comes Drapion. I'm faster than Drapion and hit a Flame Burst as I get hit with a Night Slash, bringing me down to 73 HP. Since my Flame Burst did a good bit of damage, I'm able to finish him off on the next turn. With that, Electros comes in, and I need to switch right away. I move into Arcanine, who gets it for minimal damage on the switch in, and on the next turn I go for a Fire Fang, getting a lucky burn. After the burn, Electros goes for an Acrobatics, but because of the burn, it doesn't actually do that much damage, so I'm able to finish him off with a Dragon Pulse on the next turn. With that, Ghetsis sends in Hydreigon, and this is really horrifying. I end up going for a Dragon Pulse and doing a ton of damage, but I end up getting hit by a Rock Slide, bringing me all the way down to 14 HP. Thankfully, at this point, I'm able to finish off Hydreigon, and the next Pokemon he brings out Toxicroak, winning me my battle against Ghetsis, but geez, I was really close to losing a Pokemon there. Regardless of all that though, I'm done with Team Plasma now, and I'm ready to make my way towards the Elite Four. On my way there, I meet up with Hugh, and he decides to battle me. This fight goes about the same as last time until we get to his Samurott. Sadly, in order to win this fight against Hugh, I've got to send out Chili, and this is a sacrifice. Unfortunately, Chili goes down, but this actually does really help me, as I'm able to get a free switch into Arcanine and finish off Samurott with 2 Thunder Fangs. With that, Hugh sends out Simisage, who is a complete joke, and once he is defeated, I'm able to make my way towards the Elite Four. I put Camerupt back on the team and challenge Caitlyn in my first Elite Four battle. She leads the battle with Musharna as I lead with Volcarona, and immediately I go for a Quiver Dance as she goes for a Yawn. On the next turn, I set up a second Quiver Dance as she sets up a second Yawn for some reason, and on the third turn, I end up falling asleep as she sets up with Reflect. She's then free to go for a Dream Eater, but she's only able to hit one of them before I wake up and hit her with a Signal Beam one-shotting. Because my special attack is at ×2, I'm pretty much able to sweep the rest of her team. And once her final Pokemon goes down, that wins me my first Elite Four battle. Now I'm onto Grimsley, and he leads the battle with Liepard as I lead with Volcarona. On the first turn, I get flinched by a Fake Out, and on the next turn, I set up a Quiver Dance as Liepard hits me with a Night Slash. At this point, I set up a second Quiver Dance, assuming Liepard's gonna go for another Night Slash, but I was wrong as I get hit with an Aerial Ace, bringing me all the way into the red. Now at +2 special attack, I'm able to go for a Signal Beam, one-shotting Liepard. Next out is Scrafty, who gets annihilated by a Signal Beam, and when Crocodile gets sent out, she experiences the same fate. At this point, Grimsley's onto his final Pokemon, Bisharp, and for this, I simply just go for a Flamethrower, and that wins me my second Elite Four battle. Now I'm ready to challenge Chantal in my next Elite Four battle, and before I challenge her, I just want to take a quick look at Chandelure. This Pokemon is absolutely insane for this battle. With my speed raised, I'm able to outspeed pretty much every single one of her Pokemon, so going into the fight, she leads with Cofagrigus, and I just lead with Chandelure. I'm pretty easily able to take this thing out with just one Shadow Ball, and with that, Chantal brings out Golurk. Golurk's special defense is pretty low, so I just go for a single Shadow Ball. This easily takes her out and leads me to Chantal's next Pokemon, Drifbloom. I figured Drifbloom would actually survive a Shadow Ball, but thankfully I'm mistaken, as Drifbloom goes down to a single one, and that means I'm on to Chantal's final Pokemon, Chandelure. In a normal fight, this would likely be a speed tie, but thankfully because of my nature, I don't actually have to worry about that, so I'm able to go for a single Shadow Ball, one-shotting in the process, and winning myself my third Elite Four battle. Now I'm on to Marshall, and before this battle started, I got 2 Psychic Gems gems just earlier in the run, and I'm going to use them in this fight. I put one of my Psychic gems on Chandelure, so that's who I lead with, as Marshall leads with Throw. I go for a single Psychic against this thing, obliterating him in the process, as next out comes Conkeldurr. At this point, I've basically come to terms with losing Chandelure in this fight, so I decide to stick in and go for a Psychic. It doesn't kill like expected, and Conkeldurr heals up just a little bit of HP before going for a Stone Edge and actually missing. This isn't really unexpected because Stone Edge only has 80 accuracy, but still, it's really good for me. On the next turn, Conkeldurr's killed off by a second Psychic, and with that, Sawk sent out next. This thing isn't that fast, so I'm able to go for a single Psychic, almost one-shotting, bringing him all the way down to 1 HP because of Sturdy. He then hits me with a Rock Slide, but it doesn't do that much damage, so on the following 2 turns, he goes down to 2 more Psychics. With that, Marshall's onto his final Pokemon Menchow, and this thing isn't powerful whatsoever, so I outspeed and go for a Psychic, one-shotting in the process, and winning me my final Elite Four battle. With all that being said, and the rest of the run behind us, I move on to the champion, Iris. So that's what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to lead this battle with Volcarona. She leads with Hydreigon, so right away I'm going to set up a Quiver Dance. I think that'll make me faster than Hydreigon. I'm already faster, that's cool. Let's see what he hits me with. I think it's probably going to be a Surf. It shouldn't kill, I think. Okay, that didn't even do that much. Oh, now he's got me thinking, because now I kind of want to set up another one. In fact, I think I will. I think if this doesn't... At this point, right, if we're in this situation, you gotta risk it for the biscuit. You gotta risk it for the biscuit. I'm going for a third Quiver Dance. 100%, I'm going for a third Quiver Dance. Don't crit, please. Listen, guys. You gotta risk it for the biscuit. I'm setting up 4 Quiver Dances. I don't care. Wait, does she have any priority moves? No priority moves. I'm setting up a 4th Quiver Dance. It's happening. I'm pushing my luck. I'm doing it. I'm pushing my luck right now. Alright, now I can't set up another one. I'm fine with this. This is a win. This is an absolute... I could sweep here. If I get... No, I could sweep here. I could totally sweep here. Signal Beam is going to one-shot this thing, and it's not even close. What's next? And I go to 61. Druddigon's next. Druddigon can hit me for some big damage with pretty much everything. Although I think Druddigon, I'm pretty sure, Bug isn't not very effective. I'm pretty sure it's neutral. It is neutral. I am right about that. So then I'll just go for a Signal Beam. Not even close either. This could be an absolute wipe. Now here's kind of the tricky part. I'm going to go for a Giga Drain here. I think I still one-shot even with going for Giga Drain, but it's a little bit, a little bit scarier. But I still think I'm going to do it just because I need my HP back a little bit. I still one-shot. I still one-shot. Set up another Giga Drain. I'm one-shotting. I won. I won the battle with one Pokemon. I've never done that before. I have never done that before, and I guarantee you I will never do this again. There's no way I actually pulled that off. I'm already calling it quits. She lost. Iris lost. There's no way she can come back from this. Her Haxorus can't do anything about me right now. It's game over. Signal Beam. Oh, I forgot. It's fine, right? I'm faster. I still outspeed, and I still one-shot. I don't know why I freaked out. It doesn't matter. It is an absolute sweep on my end. Iris just got clapped, and it wasn't even close. That is crazy, man. That is absolutely nuts. For one, I didn't think I could set up so many Quiver Dances right away. My main goal was to kind of work around it and set up as many Quiver Dances as I could. I didn't account for how much the special defense would boost my special defense, so I didn't know I would be able to survive so many Surfs. And like I said, you gotta risk it for the biscuit, and I mean, I was very willing to risk it for that fight. I really was. I had a backup plan too, so even if Volcarona did die, I had that backup plan, which would have just saved me anyways. I mean, wow, that run was really amazing. It doesn't get any better than that, guys. It really doesn't. I mean, that's crazy. gosh, 34 hours and 56 minutes. It took me a really long time to record this one, purely because like just the strategy involved in all these gyms. The ground gym super difficult, water gym super difficult, just to plan for in general. Other than that though, I mean, the run was, I mean, like I said, it was really good. With that being said though, the video does end here. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing. I'm so close to 10K. It would really mean the world to me. And with that being said, that was my attempt at a Pokemon White 2 Hardcore Nuzlocke using only fire types.